Good morning.
Oh my goodness, good morning. I've currently got the front door open behind you, so if you can hear the birds, if you can hear the trees rustling, that is because we now live in the countryside. It has been a crazy, crazy week and a half since I moved into this house. Honestly, my feet have not touched the ground. It's also been my birthday, so I've had I honestly had about a week long of celebrations, most of which I didn't know were going to happen in the last week because my best friends planned a surprise weekend for me in London, which was just honestly beyond thoughtful. The amount of effort that they'd gone to, it was amazing, and they are the best friends ever. So we did that in London, and then my family also did a surprise birthday evening for me the night before my birthday. My sister, her boyfriend and my parents did this big setup in my kitchen with balloons and cakes, and we had a really lovely evening with wine and all of that sort of thing, and that was really, really special. And then on my actual birthday, I had a very, very chilled day. I just did all the things that, that I love. I read my book in front of the fire. I went on a long walk with Rue. And then that evening, I actually went for dinner with one of my oldest friends, which is so special because we were really just reflecting on, we've been friends now, 15 years or more now. And we were talking about the fact that when we were at school together, obviously when you're best friends at school, you always talk about when we're older and we'll still be best friends. And it's just really special to have actually maintained that friendship for all these years. And that's the case actually with all of my best friends. Pretty much, apart from Ella, all of my friends I've known since school or primary school. My friend Grace I've known since I was 2, which I think is really, really special. But anyway, I did that on my actual birthday. And then yesterday, which was the day after my birthday, we went for another family meal at the Bowl in Charlbury, which obviously is one of our favourites. So it's been a very, very busy week in that sense. Also, when I first moved into this house, I really didn't think about the fact that obviously I didn't have Wi-Fi set up. That's, when you move somewhere new, you have to get all of that sort of stuff in your bills and just all the boring stuff set up. So I didn't have any Wi-Fi. But also what I didn't know is that I wouldn't have any signal. And when I say no signal, normally if you don't have signal, you can sort of like go to a corner of the house next to the window and pick up 1 bar of signal, or even out in the garden or down the road a bit or something like that and get tiny bit of patchy signal. No, I have SOS signal, as in not a single bar of signal anywhere within a good 10-minute walk from my front door. So I honestly felt like I was on some kind of mindful retreat for the first week of living here because I could not be contacted. I was having to go round to the village pub to use their Wi-Fi to even tell people I was alive, just anything. So yeah, that first week, that kind of explains a little bit why I've been so MIA, because it was just actually impossible to keep you updated when I couldn't even post on Instagram stories. It was only when I was out of the house that I could even get a signal. And then also I had a bit of a scare with Rue, which was I think the night after I moved in here. So obviously I didn't have a vet set up or anything, so that was a little bit stressful, but she is completely fine. But we did have the whole emergency vet situation. She had to have scans done. Well, you can only imagine how I was dealing with that. That was so stressful for me. I was so worried about her. But it turns out I don't know, it was just one of those things that seemingly has sort of sorted itself out, and she seems absolutely fine. And she said all the tests done and she's a healthy little girl, which obviously I'm so grateful for. But that's basically what's been going on for the last week and a half. So it has just been all of that on top of then obviously moving house and trying to get settled into the house and all of that sort of thing. It's just been manic. It's so much fun, and honestly I've never felt more grateful to finally be living down here. I also feel like I really reaped the benefits of living closer to friends and family really, really quickly, which was really lovely because it just reaffirmed why it was that I wanted to be here. I've seen my family honestly every single day. Rue's got to see Poppy every day, which makes her the happiest little dog in the world. I've seen my sister honestly every day, which I've not done for years, and it's just been really, really, really special. And even like I said, going for dinner on my birthday with sort of one of my school childhood best friends, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was still living up north. So it really feels like the right decision, and I'm so happy that I feel so settled so quickly in this house, because that's something I was really worried about, because obviously my house in Cheshire just was my ultimate happy space, my kind of safe place that really just felt like, I don't know, I think because we obviously renovated that whole place ourselves, it just had such an intense feeling of being our own and our home that I was slightly anxious that I wouldn't feel settled once I'd moved, especially because obviously this isn't my house, I can't change certain things. But like I said, as soon as I'd moved in all of my furniture, and all of my things, it just immediately felt like home. And I think that's because it's a cottage, so it's cozy, it's so warm in this house, and just has a really, really homely feel anyway. I noticed that even when I viewed the house and it didn't have any of my things in, it just felt really homely. And the village, honestly, I know I talked about this in the last video, but this is just my dream village. It's everything that you think and everything that I remembered sort of a countryside village to be. Even down to the fact that the postman knows me, knows Rue already, and he's currently trying to bond with Rue, because one thing about Rue is she will bark at a postman. So he's bringing her treats, they're trying to make friends, and just the fact that he knows her name, I just think, I don't know, that's not my experience when I've lived in London and obviously in Manchester. It's not quite the same, there's not that personal feel. And also when I moved in, I've got the front door open, so don't want them to hear me say this because I'm embarrassed, but the neighbours that are sort of over that way brought around a Christmas card, and it had like their name and their number, and they just said, you know, welcome to the village, and if you need anything, call us, these are on it. And it's just, you know, the village things. If you've ever lived in a village, or if you're from the countryside, you'll just totally get it. Everybody says good morning. People stop. There's this older guy that cycles around the village on a bike. Every time he sees me, he'll stop. He'll just say, you know, talk about the weather and that sort of thing. And it really, I don't know, I'm just so grateful to be here, and so happy to be here. So I feel like that's us mostly caught up. I'm sure I'll think of 1,000 things today that I've not told you. I'll tell you one thing about living in quite a rural part of the countryside, and especially where I live, my house is really quite tucked away. So even from the main village, it's just very, very tucked away, and it is quite hard to see. And then you have to go sort of quite far down a track and then down another track and that sort of thing. So what I have noticed is deliveries here don't necessarily come anywhere close to when they're supposed to come. There's a couple of times that I know the drivers just haven't been able to find the house, so I don't know what I'm going to have to do about that, but I need to figure out something. But for that very reason, my birthday present from Kenny still hasn't arrived. It's been due to come for the last 4 days, and it's due to come today. So let's hope that comes, and then we can open it together, because when I say I don't know what it is, I have no idea what it is. Honestly, I've been basically sat in the window for the last 4 days waiting for it to come, because I don't know. Kenny always does well with presents, but I just have absolutely no idea what it is. Camera just died, which is probably a really good hint from my camera that I should actually stop talking and just get into what we're doing today. So, very first thing that we're going to do today, we're about to head out, hence the coat. I've been standing here talking for about half an hour with my coat on, but we're about to head out because I'm going to pick up my real Christmas tree, which is definitely about time, because Christmas is honestly in a matter of days. I already have some of my Christmassy bits up. You can probably see my Balsam Hill Christmas tree in the reflection, and then just some other bits, because like I said, it is actually less than a week until Christmas now, which is the latest I've ever left it. Normally December 1st my real Christmas tree is through the door, but I refuse to not have one. It might be late, but I'm getting one. And then I also need to do some food shopping today. I need to take Rue out for her walk, and obviously show you bits and pieces of the house and chat to you about the house. So that's the plan for today. I'm going to actually stop talking this time, and let's go and get ourselves a Christmas tree. This is my favourite tree, but it's absolutely huge, as in wide, so it's probably too wide for the living room. My second favourite, but we think this one is honestly about 10 foot tall, which probably is a bit much. Also love, this would also be my dream tree. They have such nice trees here, but they're all a little bit big for a cottage. These are so nice. They're really full, all the trees here, which I think is actually quite hard to find. I think we might go for this one. Okay, we're home. I've got the tree. I was very indecisive, but I managed to choose one. I went for a smaller one in the end because I've got to actually manhandle this tree upstairs myself. So, I don't know if anybody else struggles so much choosing a Christmas tree, but I'm just generally quite an indecisive person, which I should probably work on. And I also get this thing, there must be a name for this, where you sort of personify objects and then you have empathy for them. And if it's like the last little Christmas tree or a particularly small one or a crooked one, I feel sorry for it. I saw a TikTok recently, this is very off topic, and it was of, you know, the Lindt chocolate teddy bears, the mini ones that are about this big. Somebody had filmed this one Lindt teddy bear and it was in, honestly, I could probably cry about this, and it was in its cardboard box on the shelf in the supermarket, and it was the last one left, and it was just standing there. Honestly, it's obviously not just me that feels this way, because everyone on TikTok was saying the same thing, but I would have to buy him. I just couldn't leave him there. But anyway, it took me a long time, but we've got a Christmas tree, we're home. But before I take on the task of manhandling that Christmas tree up these stairs, I think it's definitely time for coffee. And I recently got my dream coffee machine. It's the Nespresso Virtuo Creatista. It is beautiful. I'll show it to you in a minute, but I'm actually working with Nespresso on this part of the video, which is amazing because I have always used Nespresso. I remember being given my very first Nespresso machine by my parents when I went to university. What I love about Nespresso is just the convenience. With the press of one button, you can have everything from an espresso, a cappuccino, an iced latte. You can have it with milk, without milk. So however you want your coffee that day, it's as easy as the press of a button. So let's talk about the Nespresso Plus subscription service. This is something that Kenny's always used. It's an automated coffee delivery service that comes straight to your door. You just choose the blends that you love the most and how often you want to receive them. It's so flexible. There's no fee to join. There's also no commitment. You can cancel your subscription at any time. And there's also lots of other added benefits. You get 20% off all the accessories. You also get access to all of the latest coffees. And if you order 70 capsules within a month, you also get a free sleeve, which is always really nice. So if you're looking for a last minute Christmas treat, or even if one of your New Year's resolutions is something like buying a few less coffees outside of the house, then I will leave all of the details that you need about the Nespresso Plus subscription service in my description. So now that we're fueled with coffee, let's go and get this Christmas tree up the stairs. God, this is a lot harder than it looks. Oh no, that's about to fall off. I've just pretty much torn my nail clean off trying to get this upstairs. Okay, we're gonna have to pause on the tree for the moment so that I can get Rue out on her walk while it's still light, because the days are just so short at the moment. It feels like you wake up, you blink, and then it's already getting dark again. I also am gonna try and convince my dad, a real adult, even though I'm definitely a real adult myself, to help me secure the tree, because I just know my luck. What'll happen is I'll put it up, I'll put my decorations all over it, and then it'll fall down, break all of my baubles, probably fall into the fireplace, set the whole place on fire, and just something disastrous will happen. So I'm gonna ask Dad if he'll come and help me with it before I do that. So that'll probably end up being this evening now, because like I said, I'm gonna take Rue out first, and then I also need to do a food shop, so we've got to go find time to do that as well. This is the other half of my living room. It's still very much as it was the day I moved in, so I've got my mirror just randomly put here, I've got paintings behind me on the floor, and just everything is wherever it was the day I moved in. Because I'm not entirely sure what to do with this half of the room, because all of my furniture from the old house fits in one half of the living room. So I've got half a room to do something with, and I'm kind of thinking over time I might try and turn it into sort of like a really informal office space. And when I say office, I kind of mean, think library, that sounds very grand, but think library slash office, very informal office. And I definitely want to bring some colour in, because that's just so beige over there, so beige. So I'm thinking sort of like dark wood bookshelves in sort of the alcoves over here, then a lovely rug, colourful, rich colours in the rug, and then probably some more sort of like informal sitting space, so maybe two deep burgundy or like a dark rich green kind of sitting chairs, basically, some soft chairs, some really big armchairs, so that the room feels like two different spaces but within one room. And it also gives me somewhere really nice and cozy to work with a really gorgeous view just out over the fields, and somewhere really cozy to read as well. So that's the plan long term. I will show you around the house properly at some point. Whether that will be today or not, I don't know, just because I would like there to be less. Honestly, if you could see the floor, it's such a mess still. things everywhere, and there's so many changes. Like I want to change the curtains in here because they just came with the house, and there's just, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, my back is about to give way crouching over like this. So I am going to get Ria on her walk. Let's go. Okay, it's much later on. It is 4-ish, 4, 5-ish. It's early evening, late afternoon. And I need to go out and get some food, because when I say I've got no food in the house, I really, you know when you've moved house and you're starting from scratch, I just keep buying bits and then running it back down to zero. So really at some point, need to do a huge food shop, especially considering everyone's coming here for Christmas, which is just a hurdle for the next few days. When I went for dinner on my birthday with one of my oldest friends, like I was saying earlier, she very kindly gifted me this huge architectural digest, which I've wanted for so long. It's the coffee table book. What I think is so special is she's written a handwritten, dated note in the front. Some inspiration for the many exciting years ahead. All my love, always, Georgie. This is really Rue's dream Christmas present. She is obsessed with pheasants. We had one in our garden the other morning actually, and that nearly caused World War III, so I should probably get her one of those for a Christmas present. I cannot believe that I've not been to that farm shop so far in like the festive Christmas period. It was so cozy, Christmassy. There was so much going on. They had a whole ice rink there, which obviously usually isn't there. And I've never actually eaten there. I think I say this every time I go, but I've never actually been to sort of like the cafe area. So I don't know if it's always like that. But today there was a fire, there was obviously Christmas trees, fairy lights. They were doing like mulled wine, mince pies. It was so festive. Anyway, it was quite a successful trip actually. I picked up a few random bits. So I got a very last minute, I don't know what these are called. So, we're just going to call it a Christmas decoration. It's kind of in place of a wreath, I guess, but I would love to put this above my fireplace upstairs, which is going to be next to the Christmas tree. I just thought this was really nice. So very last minute, but I've got people coming over on, well, obviously my family's here all Christmas, and then my friends are coming on Monday, so I thought it would be worth it. And then I can't tell you how long I've been looking for huge kind of rustic chopping boards, and they had so many there today. So I got a round one, and then I also got, where can I put that? Will it go there? I also got this huge rectangle one. I think they're so nice and they're exactly what I've been looking for. Oh, and then a couple of bits that weren't for you. These are actually just some little kind of jokey Christmas presents for my parents, because this just sums them up. Oh, I've got dirt on that one. I hope I've not cracked it. No, it's just dirty. But I've never seen something that sums up my parents so well. So Dad says, I'd rather be in the pub, and Mum says I'd rather be walking the dog, and this is just their stereotype to a T, so I thought it's too good not to get. Also, please do excuse my nails. This is what happened with the Christmas tree earlier when I was trying to get upstairs. Food-wise, for dinner tonight, I got this pumpkin and sage tortelloni. This one is plant-based, and this is the one that they sell at Dalesford. And then to go with that, I got some, this won't surprise any of you, but some of the wild fennel tomato pesto from this brand. I should learn how to say this because I talk about this brand so much. If anyone's good at Italian, please tell me how to say this brand, because this is the brand that only uses extra virgin olive oil, so I love this brand. To keep me going until I do get to the supermarket, I got, this is an organic turmeric and chilli sourdough loaf, which I thought would be really nice with avocado in the morning, so I've got a couple of avocados. Very much the necessary bits to keep me going until tomorrow. I think we should make some dinner now, and then after dinner my parents are going to come around and help me get the Christmas tree into place, so we can do that afterwards. That is so delicious. Mum and I just picked out the really special baubles and just sort of threw them on wherever there was a space on the tree, and I love how it's turned out. That's me done for Christmas this year, and we're also, my family and I are going so low-key on presents. I just think, well, it's been a very busy December, but I also think sometimes the more simple Christmas is, the nicer it is. I just think year on year on year, I feel like there can be this temptation to really overcomplicate Christmas and feel like you have to do it bigger and better and bigger presents and more presents and you know, more decorations and just do more every year. And I really think that actually you can get so wrapped up in all of that. It can make things like buying gifts a really stressful thing, or a really expensive thing, rather than actually just, I don't know, maybe you'll know what I mean, but I just think sometimes overcomplicating and over worrying and even just doing too much can sort of lose the magic of Christmas. So keeping it more simple this year, and I'm going to try and make a mental note of that. I know especially for me, sometimes with being on YouTube, There's just so many people on YouTube that do it so well, and they really go to town and they do it so beautifully, and you know, every inch of their house is sort of perfectly curated and decorated, and sometimes it makes me feel like maybe I've not done enough. And I feel like that does definitely, for me personally, feed into just wanting and feeling like I have to do more and more and more, and it becoming more about, I don't know, it becoming more about sort of appearances rather than the meaning of Christmas and doing it with family and it feeling special and authentic to me. This year, sort of taking a step back and actually just thinking, you know, I have more than enough. I don't need to buy all new Christmas decorations. I don't need to sort of, I don't know, I don't need to do any more than I always did and my family always did growing up. I think that's kind of the magic of it. But anyway, with that in mind, let me show you some of my favourite baubles and the ones that I've sort of collected over the years and the meaning behind them and that sort of thing. Okay, let's start with the star of the show. So this is Poppy's bauble because it looks just like her. So I bought that a few years ago. And then in honour of Rue, I've never quite found one that looks just like Rue, but everybody says that Rue looks like a little fox. So I bought this a few years ago, and that's currently Rue's bauble. Although I would love to get one that looks more like her. If anybody ever sees one, please let me know. And then a couple of years ago, we started a sort of mini tradition where my sister and my parents, every Christmas as one of my presents, would buy me a bauble, because I just think that's what Christmas to me is about. Just that sort of collection of really personal baubles. So this was this year's from my sister. She gave it to me the other day, which is a little felt gingerbread house. And then I've not had one from my parents this year, but my mum, I think, or maybe my sister, my mum or my sister got me these bees from Dalesford, I think last year. But yeah, that would have been my sister, because I've just remembered seeing this gorgeous bauble. This is what my parents brought me back from America last year, because they had just been on a trip to Florida. And then, oh yeah, one year my sister and my mum got me these gorgeous glass baubles. These were made by an art teacher at my first school. And there's another one somewhere, but I'm not sure where. And then we've got a hedgehog. Again, I forget who got me this. I think my sister got me this a couple of years ago. This actually lights up. It's a New York townhouse. Did I get this in New York? I can't remember where I got that from, but it lights up. It just has no batteries in at the moment. And I've just thrown on a couple of red baubles just to, you know, try and tie it in together. But I am so happy with how that looks. I love just a really eclectic tree. Just brought myself up to bed. I just thought I'd quickly talk to you on my phone because my camera needs a charge, and honestly, I'd love to know where my camera charger is, but that's just a problem for tomorrow. I feel like everything's upside down in this house at the moment. But this is my bedroom. I've done nothing at all with this room so far. This is just my bed from the spare bedroom at the old place. I've got my same bedside lamp, same bedside tables. This huge wooden wardrobe over here was actually in the house when I moved in. It was the only piece of furniture that was here. And it's kind of up to me whether I want to keep it or I can take it out. But it's in like a little alcove, but it just sticks so far out, so I can hardly sort of fit past my bed at the end. So I don't know what to do about that, whether to keep it or not, because the bedroom next door will be my sort of dressing room eventually. When I get around to it, that will be my dressing room. I am still, just for a book update, I'm still going on the same book I was reading before, although I am nearly there now. I'm a good 2/3, 3/4 of the way through. My aim with this book is that I really want to get it finished with a couple of nights to spare before Christmas Day, because I'm desperate to read A Christmas Carol that I bought earlier this year with Christmas in mind. And obviously that's such a Christmas book. So I'm really going to try and get this done and then have time to read that. I also love the beams on the ceiling in my bedroom. But yes, I am going to take myself to bed. I'm going to read some of this book, get that done, and then I am going to get myself to sleep. But I feel like I today it feels like it's gone nowhere. Honestly, also, I'm really sorry about all these awful fingerprints. They're obviously from when it was moved, this mirror. So I will clean that at some point. I'll get around to that. But what was I saying? Yeah, I feel like today's really honestly gone nowhere. It's been feeling like that every day recently. I do just think when you've moved house, everything takes that tiny bit longer, just because you don't know where things are. I spend half my days looking for things in this house. And then even when you go out, it's like, You know, figuring out the dog walk routes take longer, doing the food shop and things like that takes longer just because you don't know where everything is on automatic like you do usually at home. This is so bothering me. Shall we zoom in? Shall we zoom in? There we go. Now we can't see the fingerprints. But yeah, I really just want to get this out so that we're all on the same page, and I feel like I haven't spoken to you for so long, so I'm really looking forward to just catching up with you in the comments. I just realised this will be my last video before Christmas, so please tell me in the comments what your plans are for Christmas. Are you feeling ready? Honestly, I'm not, and when you're watching this, I still won't be ready, so if that makes you feel better, then, and please make me feel better by telling me you're still not ready on Sunday when Christmas is on Wednesday. I just feel like I've got so much to sort out. We will catch up only in a week, but it will feel like a very long week because Christmas will be, is that New Year's? I don't know. I get so confused. I mean, it's so cliche, but the whole between Christmas and New Year's thing, that will come into play. But there will be a video in between there. And this is something I actually really wanted to touch on just quickly because I know there wasn't a video last week. And believe me, there is nobody that hates missing a Sunday more than me. I hate missing a Sunday. I just miss it so much, and I miss chatting with you and catching up with you every Sunday, and I really do hate it. So please do know that if I ever miss a Sunday, it's because I really couldn't make it work for whatever reason, because sometimes life just happens. It happens for all of us, and I value the fact that you come here every Sunday and you spend time with me so much. I really can't put it into words how much I am grateful for that and appreciate that and value you and your time. And on the weeks when things just don't quite go to plan and things feel really busy, just know that I won't be able to produce a video that I feel like is worthy of your time to watch. I'm so tired. That was appalling English. But basically, if I don't put a video up, it's because I only want to put videos out when I feel really happy with them and when I feel like I'm actually sharing something that might be interesting. And yeah, anyway, I feel like that was a really long way of saying that basically if I ever miss a Sunday, I promise you it's not just me thinking I can't be bothered, I don't care. There's not much I care more about than being here every Sunday and sharing things with you and that sort of thing. So if I'm ever not here on a Sunday, just know it was out of my hands and I had no way I could have made it work. Did you just hear that? That was a pheasant outside because I thought it was Rue, but Rue's gone home with my parents tonight for a sleepover just because I've got so much work to do in the morning that I thought she'd have more fun there, and then I'll go and pick her up for the afternoon tomorrow. But anyway, right, I am going to go because I've been talking for 10 minutes. Like I said, I hope you have the best Christmas ever. I am sending so much love to you, to all of your families, and I cannot wait for this new chapter with you in the countryside. So I will catch up with you next Sunday. Bye, guys.